Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Natasha, and in today's video we are going to be making some ramen in a jar. So this is all going to be dried food that you can assemble. Essentially, this is like those little mini cups that you get at Walmart. My version, because I am making this for myself, is I am going to be using a vegan bone broth base. This is a beef base that is vegan friendly. If you don't know, I have an autoimmune disease called lupus, and it gets inflamed depending on what I am eating. So I try to eat low inflammatory foods. And this is one of the ways that I am able to make an easy swap out, but still retain all of the delicious, nostalgic memories of eating ramen. Like always, the full recipe will be linked in the description box below and in the pinned comments for you to go and recreate this ramen in a jar recipe yourself. Now, we all know that ramen has a pretty long shelf life just in itself when you buy the packets or the little cups. However, it is full of a lot of MSG and a lot of ingredients that I can't even say myself. So doing it this way, not only do you get to know exactly what ingredients are in it, but you also get to kind of customize the way that you might like your ramen. It can easily be adapted into a chicken or a beef-based ramen. You can do that easily by switching out your broth-based powder and by switching up some of the ingredients. You could easily use some freeze-dried chicken chunks from Thrive Life. This is such a perfect little on-the-go meal if you are going camping, or if you are hiking, or if you just honestly want some ramen and want to know exactly what ingredients are in it. So I'm going to bring you down here. We're going to get started. Make sure you give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe if you are new. All right, so the first thing we're going to talk about is the noodle, because the noodle is absolutely important. So when I first saw a variation of this recipe, I saw it over on Honeystead's YouTube channel. But I have made some variations of my own because obviously they did use a animal product base, and she did not have these type of noodles, which I was looking for the kind of noodles that she actually used in hers. She used like a rice noodle in hers, which would have been perfect anyways for this recipe. But as I was at Walmart, I found this doohickey, which is perfect. Okay, so these obviously are a new product. It says new up here. They are like ramen noodles. Okay, and the best thing is, if you look down in this corner, it says no MSG. No MSG. Yay! Okay, so, and if you look back on the ingredients, it is literally wheat flour, water, salt, potassium carbonate, sodium, and carbonate. That's it. Okay, so we can actually say all these ingredients. So you're going to need your noodles. Like I said, you could use the instant rice noodles if you cannot find these ones at your local Walmart yet. You are going to need your broth base. I am using the vegan one. You can use either chicken or beef bone broth base. I'm just going to add in a little bit of salt and pepper, nothing crazy. And for mine, I'm going to be using the Thrive Life freeze-dried onions. Going to be adding in some freeze-dried peppers. I've got red and yellow. I'm going to be adding in some freeze-dried spinach. Obviously, that's not what's in the jar. I like to reuse my jars, okay? So you reuse your stuff like this, where you can dry or freeze-dry and reuse the glass jar. There's nothing wrong with the glass jar. Wash it out really well. That's how we save money too, by not having to buy a ton of mason jars. So this is the freeze-dried spinach I'm going to be using. You can also purchase this off of Thrive Life as well. Going to be finishing up this last little bit of broccoli because I want my jar back. And then I'm also going to be putting in a tablespoon or two of freeze-dried mixed veggies. So this is going to be kind of like similar to the cup ramen noodle where it's got the little veggie packet that you can put in. That's what I'm going for. All right, so here we go. Let's get to assembling. This is a pint-sized wide mouth mason jar, okay? And it should all fit in here. should being keyword. First thing I'm going to start off with is my powder. I'm going to put in 2 teaspoons of this broth base. 2 teaspoons makes about 1 cup. That's about right where this is going to be at. We're going to get lots of flavor from the veggies, so I don't go too ham on putting in the broth base. Then I'm going to add in 1 tablespoon of my onions. Dash of salt and pepper. You can always add more to this after you make it. I just like to put it all in there so I know it's in there. I'm only doing a tiny tad bit of salt. Next thing I'm going to add in is my spinach. I'm going to kind of crumple this up in here. You could also use spinach powder just to give it a little bit more green, healthy, right? Right, I'm gonna add in a couple of the freeze-dried peppers. Gosh, those smell so darn good. Is it lunchtime yet? This might be my lunch, y'all. Okay, a couple of the red peppers. Broccoli. Gonna kind of squish it down in here because we want to make sure we got room for our noodles. Okay, and then there we go. All right, last but not least, we're gonna add in our noodles. So I have already opened up these noodles because the kids wanted some. The ones I bought come in a pretty little 4-pack. So there's 4 little packs to a package. And it essentially is 1 serving of noodles. So I'm going to try to break mine in half without making a mess. Now, if you are the type of person that does not actually crumble up your ramen noodle before you cook it, you could easily put this in a wide mouth mason jar or even into like a plastic baggie to store. That way you can keep your block whole. I am actually one that crushes the entire bag before I cook it, so I do not personally mind it crushed. But if you do, to each their own. So I probably crushed out a little bit more than what was needed to fit into the jar, but there you go. All right, and there you go. You've got yourself a nice little ramen freeze-dried meal in a jar. Make sure you give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe if you're new. The full recipe will be down in the description box below for you to go and check out. When you are ready to cook this, you literally just add hot water, put the lid back on, give it a couple minutes, shake it up, boom, ramen in a jar. And you know all the ingredients. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.